Hello everybody out there in YouTube land. So, I took a look at the Rebirth Suicide Squad and the new 52 Suicide Squad, as well as this series, which is also from the new 52 and is titled New Suicide Squad. So, of the three, and these three Suicide books all came out between 2014 and 2017. So that's three series of Suicide Squad books in 3 years. So of the three of those, this is the one I thought looked the best. The art is the best of the three series from what I've seen, and I like this roster. Although Joker's daughter is pretty horrible to look at with her dead skin face mask, and she is not very popular among the fans. So anyways, the Rebirth Suicide Squad also look good, but it's very heavily based off of the movie. So I thought I'd go with this series, and like I said, I like the art the best in this one. So New Suicide Squad number 2 is from 2014. The writer is Sean Ryan, the penciler and the inker is Jeremy Roberts, and the colorist is Blonde. Now, Blonde is an actual person, but he does the coloring digitally, so that's what that is. And the letterer is Taylor Esposito. So this issue, it has the standard cover, and it has a variant cover by Megan Hetrick, which I'll show near the end of the video. This is the Prime Earth Suicide Squad, and as such, it's a little different. This squad contains Black Manta, Deadshot, Deathstroke, Harley Quinn, and Joker's daughter. Alright, so starting off, we have the cover here. I like it. It's a pretty good cover. I really don't like the way Joker's daughter looks, just because, I mean, she has the Joker's dead skin face attached over her face. You know, she wears his skin as a mask, and it looks really horrible, but everything else is pretty cool. One thing that's a little strange, I think maybe they draw the cover before they know all the details of the story, because, for instance, Deathstroke in the back there, in the blue and orange, he doesn't ever wear a hat like that in the book. I went through it a couple times to make sure, and he doesn't ever dress quite like that. And also, Harley Quinn here in the foreground, she doesn't ever have a sledgehammer like that. So, anyways, it's okay, though. It's a really good cover otherwise. I like it. It's got the right setting and everything. You can see the Kremlin in the background and shows the setting and everything. So that's the cover. Starting off on the first page, we see Black Manta. So they pick up right where they left off last time. If you saw my first review, I reviewed issue 1, and the Suicide Squad was on a mission in Moscow, and they were basically going to destroy this research facility and steal information as well. But they were compromised, and now they're under heavy fire from these big robots, which are called Rocket Reds. So they're being shot at, and they're all trying to take cover, and Harley Quinn and Joker's daughter are still butting heads. Harley Quinn really doesn't like Joker's daughter. So they're all taking cover, and Deadshot's trying to crawl away. We go to the next page, and Black Manta's like, "Deadshot, where are you going?" And Amanda Waller's talking to him on the headset too, and she says, "Manta, where's Deadshot going?" And Manta says, "That's what I'm trying to find out." So Deadshot says, "Where do you think I'm going?" "Away from the bullets." And they decide that Deadshot's actually got the right idea there, so they follow Deadshot away from the bullets, and they take the elevator shaft down. So you get this really awesome splash page here. And so far with this comic series, New Suicide Squad, they always do a page like this where it's a full splash page, and you get to see the names of everybody credited at the bottom, as well as the title for the issue. So this issue is called Pure Insanity, and you see the team all coming down. It looks really good. That's drawn really well. I like this artist. He does great work, and he did the inks too, so it's really neat. And we see everybody credited there, everybody who worked on it, including the variant cover artists and the assistant editor and all that, so that's cool. I like that page. We go to the next page, and they've made it to the bottom floor by taking the elevator. They're running out, and they get outside the building, and they see the Rocket Reds there. There's these giant red robots in the bottom panel, and all of the Russian police and stuff are standing there too. So it jumps to the next page, and we catch up with what Deathstroke's doing, and it picks up right where it left off. He is jumping off of this roof that he was on, and it's blowing up, but he gets captured by this Rocket Red here. And I don't know if you can see in the panel, the top right panel, but Deathstroke's the little orange and blue guy, and he is much smaller than the Rocket Red. He's about the size of the guy's boot, which is a giant robot. So Deathstroke gets captured by this thing, and the Rocket Red says, "Our superiors are interested in your talents and would like to discuss a lucrative deal with you." So they don't want to kill him, they want him to work for them. So Deathstroke turns turns off his headset to Amanda Waller and says, "I'm listening." So we go back to the rest of the team on the next page. And this is where I thought Harley would have the sledgehammer from the cover, but she's actually got a shovel and she's hitting a guy with it. So they don't really explain how they get away. Oh, so all the guys that were shooting at them didn't hit them, and the team just went back into the building that they'd run out of. So they're back inside, and Harley takes down another guy with her shovel here. And Black Manta just took charge of the team, and he tells her to go and get Joker's daughter. And Harley's like, "Why? She's useless." And he says, "Fine, I'll get her." And he goes and gets her. And he says, "You, let's go." And Joker's daughter says, "Why? This is where the fun is." Go to the next page, and they're still being pinned down and shot at, although I think they're inside again. I don't know. Maybe they're in front of the building still. But, you know, the Russian police are apparently, they have the stormtrooper syndrome where they can't hit anything. So they don't hit any of them. And we see on the next page, they're running down the street, and they still haven't been hit. So that's a little ridiculous. But if you're going to read comic books, you have to be able to suspend disbelief sometimes. So let's just say that the cops didn't want to accidentally hit these civilians, because you can see there's a lot of civilians, so maybe that's why. And the squad gets into the subway system, and they run down, and then they get into one of the subway trains, and they're all trying to take stock and figure out what they're going to do. Meanwhile, Vic Sarge and Amanda Waller are still talking to them on their headsets and telling them they need to complete the mission, and they're like, "We're just trying to get out of here, we gotta live." So on the next page we see, I guess these are like the Russian commander guys, the general and whatnot, and they're talking about how the Rocket Reds can't follow down into the subway because they're too big, so they're going to send in this black suited guy here with his special forces team. And we see another page, and it's Deathstroke talking to this important Russian guy. We don't know who he is, but he is basically explaining that the world is like two dogs fighting over a bone, and he wants to make sure Russia gets the part of the bone that has the meat on it, so he is offering Deathstroke payment to work for them. And I thought that would be the page where Deathstroke would have the hat from the cover, but he's still got his regular mask on. So we get to the next page, and the team is arguing in the subway because Harley and Joker's daughter keep fighting. And a little bit of a spoiler, I looked at the third issue, the one that comes after this, and I plan on reviewing that too, but in the third issue, it's mostly about Joker's daughter and Harley Quinn finally having it out. They fight. So they're in the subway, they're arguing, and then the lights go out and the train stops. And Deadshot says to Black Manta, "So what do we do, boss?" And we go to the next page, and Black Manta says, "Get down!" Because there's suddenly bullets flying every which way through, as you can see in the top panel, and they're crouched down in the other two panels. And you know, I really do like this way the artist drew Black Manta. I think all these characters are drawn really well. So we go to the next page, and the black suited officer, we don't know his name either, opens the door, and he's got his special forces guys with him, and he says, "Please do not get up." And Deadshot says to Black Manta, "What's the strategy for this?" And Black Manta says, "Just kill everyone as hard as you can." And the Joker's daughter and Harley Quinn say, "Can do," and they attack. So we get this full page. It's 4 panels, but there are no words, and we see each of them taking down a opponent. The bottom panel's pretty brutal. Deadshot shooting that guy through the head, and Joker's daughter copying Harley Quinn, you can see there, which pisses off Harley Quinn, and she says that on the next page, as we see there. She breaks this guy's arm in the top panel. Again, I don't know how any of them managed to not get shot, but they are gymnast skills and can dodge bullets, I guess. So Harley Quinn says to Joker's daughter, "Stop copying me," and Joker's daughter says, "Stop copying me." And Black Manta's just like, "Focus." And on the next page, we see the commander guy calling back to the base, and he finds out that they're going to be sending in something bad. It's either the Rocket Reds are going to get down there, or they're going to just blow the place up, which I think is what they're going to do. Oh no, it says the Rocket Reds are being sent now to eliminate the threats. So he says, "We need to go," and Deadshot's like, "What are you talking about?" And we hear this rumbling noise, and we go to the next page. Black Manta knocking out a guy, he's punching him. Oh, and he takes one of his grenades and throws it at some other soldiers, as we see in the bottom panel, which is really nice. That's really stylistic. I like the style of it. So that's cool. And we see the explosion. That's really well drawn. Another cool thing with the Suicide Squad, this run, the new Suicide Squad, there's a lot of action. If you like to see action, that's certainly its main thing. So they leave on the next page. They run out of the back of the train, which is now blown up from the grenade, and it's Black Manta and Harley Quinn and Joker's daughter, but not Deadshot yet, because he's being held by the officer guy. And Deadshot turns around and he just says, I don't have time for this, and he shoots him, which is pretty brutal. But you see on the next page, he didn't kill him apparently, because the guy shoots him in return. And then he shoots him again, and Deadshot turns around and says, stop shooting me, and shoots him. I don't know why I find that funny, but I thought it was pretty funny. Okay, so we see the last page now, another full splash page, and it's got the Rocket Reds on it. So that's really great. That's a great splash page. Oh yeah, I see. So they're just shooting straight through the ground now at the subway where the team is. So that's pretty brutal. You can see a car flipping out of the way. So that's cool. And now we have... so one thing about these comic issues, though, that's kind of a bummer, is they are pretty short. Like, this issue was... well, it was better than the last one. It was 20 pages, so that's not too terrible. 20 actual pages and then the regular cover. But that doesn't fill it out. They had like 6 or 7 pages after the main story where they're talking about other comics that are coming out. Like this page here is a full page. It's essentially an ad, but it looks really cool. It's for The Multiversity by Grant Morrison. And then we have a big ad for Green Arrow here, which I thought looked cool. And I guess that's it for now. That's new Suicide Squad number 2 from 2014. I hope you liked it. I've already got the materials together for reviewing issue 3, and then my big plan I've been working on is to do the top 5 alternate versions of Batman. That's going to take some time to do the research on that, but I've got that coming soon too. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and if you aren't subscribed, please subscribe.
End of line.